These things start off simple enough. I started off with this, the Mr. Heater portable buddy heater. I don't remember what it cost. I think I've seen them in Walmart for about 80 bucks now, something like that. And then in the camper shell project, where I put the heater was too close to where the bubble wrap insulation was. So then I built this enclosure rig, which was meant to deflect the heat away from the outside and keep the bubble wrap from melting, basically. This by itself normally seems to be very safe. It works very well. The backside and the sides are almost cold. They don't get hot at all. All the heat comes out the front. My problem in the camper shell was I just didn't have enough room, and so this was very close to where the roof kind of angled forward, and so I had to build this. There was another video on that. Normally the heater runs off of these 1 pound canisters. At Walmart, those are about $3.50 a piece, something like that. I don't think I've ever changed one of those more than once in a day. Also, where I'm at in Texas, the coldest I've seen here was high 20s, lows 30s. It doesn't get like 40 below here. I don't need a lot of propane to keep warm. That really wasn't a burden to buy those things, but after a while, they do add up because, they're made to be disposable, right? So you get them at Walmart. They're in 2-pack or 1-pack typically. Then you just buy a few every payday, and you got a stockpile, and that's fine. Well, I knew that this existed, and I just kind of resisted buying one for a while. Propane tank, and what these are, it's a refill service. So instead of, I don't know if that's the best word, it's a tank exchange program. That's the best way to say it. Instead of going to a place that can fill a tank, I just drop this tank off and exchange it for one that's already full. So that isn't my tank, essentially. I mean, it's my tank for now, and then I trade it for another one. So I don't get that one filled and get that same tank back. I'll probably never see that tank again. It's more expensive that way, but it's faster. I don't have to go find a place that can refill a tank, because that's getting harder and harder to find. These are convenient. They're, outside. I got this one at Walmart. It was down by the garden section. Just talked to the cashier. Okay, I need a tank. Okay. New tank, it was less than $50. And then when I exchange it, it's less than half of that. I think it's about 20 bucks for an exchange, something like that. Don't quote me on the price. It doesn't really matter. This is, I thought that was a 20-pound tank. This is a 15-pound tank. These hold 1 pound. So, this is equal to about 15 of these. If I do this less than once a day, at most I'll run through this in 2 weeks. All right. So that's part of it. Now, Mr. Heater, these guys make an adapter hose, and this was kind of designed to be used this way. So this hose comes off of the tank. There's no regulator. It just goes down directly into, and where this canister would screw in, the hose just goes on there. All right, and that's real simple. Hook it up. The only problem is it's less portable, but I use the heater in 1 or 2 places most of the time anyway, so not a big deal. Okay, that hose I think was 5 feet long. I'll look up the prices later. Your prices may vary, but that hose was made by Mr. Heater kind of specifically for this application. The end of this hose matches these. It just screws on. It's exactly the same. It's actually got the valve inside and everything, so if the hose was disconnected, you could turn the tank on and the gas wouldn't come out. All right, so that's that. Mr. Heater also makes this, which is they call it a propane distribution post / tree. I call it a manifold. What it has, first it comes in a nice travel little bag with a strap on the back, keep it clean and whatnot. That's a nice touch. I thought that was kind of nice. This part here connects to your propane tank. These are made so that once it's connected, it would have a tendency to want to move around. You can just kind of run these down until it touches the tank. It's probably going to scratch the tank, so you might think about that. I think what I'll probably do is put a piece of duct tape or something on the tank, or maybe steal some pencil erasers or something and protect that end of it. That would have been a good thing to add as a little rubber bumper on there. This is the same as this. Okay. You use this thing with another flex hose, not that hose. Okay. I'll put the box away. I'll get rid of these. Actually, let me just show you the box real quick, because this gives you really a good example of what we're going to be seeing. Okay, so this end connects to the tank. You can see the little screws coming down here. These don't connect to the tank, they just kind of brace against the tank. All right. Here they got the Mr. Heater connected to the propane tank, and the distribution manifold tree comes up, and then you can hook 2 or 3 different accessories off of the same tank. And you kind of get the idea. All right. And the second part of that is a straight pipe that is just a simple female end on one end and male on the other. And what they show here is if you had a propane lantern, so if you had a propane lantern, you'd connect it to the top of the T, gets it up another foot or so. Okay, 15 and 15. Okay, so 30 inches total. So your lantern would sit up high, light up your campsite, and you could have your heater and a propane stove all connected at the same time. All right. This is also Mr. Heater, 8-foot propane hose assembly. The same connection as this end and the hose and the little tank. I don't know why I would ever want to do this, but I could run this end to my tank and this end to the heater, and that would work. But mainly, this hose would connect to one of these and then come across to the heater. All right. So at the moment, I'm using this hose, which connects directly to the tank, and you got to watch this, and I think this is probably the problem. Several of these, in the last couple of times that I went to Walmart, I was kind of checking it out and then decided not to buy it right away, and then yesterday I bought them. I kept seeing the packages opened and returned. So you can see it's torn a little bit or whatever. I was like, okay, what's wrong with them, right? And then I realized after I looked at it last night when I figured it out, they aren't compatible directly with each other exactly, right? So if you're just using one heater and one tank, get the hose that has the tank connector, and like this, right? So this end screws onto the tank, this end screws onto the heater, and then you're done. If you got more than one appliance that you want to use at the same time, then you'd get this T or tree or manifold assembly. This goes on where this goes on, like so. Then I'd run this hose to run that. And I just realized my first problem already, because I only bought one of these. Not a big deal. I was thinking I was going to get to use this one again, and I'm not. Yeah, now I'm sad. I just realized I made a mistake. No, that's okay. That's the heater setup, and the last thing I'm going to say on these are sealed quick disconnects. I mean, you screw them. It's not just a quarter turn, or not like an air compressor where you just kind of pull the thing and snap it on there. But these are made to seal when something is not connected to it. Okay. That means I can have one appliance hooked up, leave the other 2 ends disconnected, and the propane won't leak out of that. Okay. So not a big deal if you only have one appliance and you want to hook it up. You can just use one appliance. You don't need to have to you know, you don't have to have something connected to every fitting, and then you'll be okay. So for instance, if I don't need this right away, put that back in the bag, just use that.